Yeah, I will introduce Familia really briefly, just a sec. Hope you guys can see my screen at the moment.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Familia was actually established in 1988, and we're a politically and religiously non-affiliated NGO. And our goal is to support the two-way integration of people who have moved to Finland for various reasons or have born in Finland and are part of an intercultural family. We're at the moment we're the leading expert and advocate in intercultural families, and our goal is to also support intercultural families in their everyday life and day-to-day challenges as well. And currently we offer a lot of different clubs. So for example, we have duo living room, duo mother baby groups, duo fathers groups, duo divorce living room, job hunting group. And also we're starting the Mundua youth activities again, which Hope is in charge of, which is really exciting as well. And these activities are mainly led by our volunteers. So we're also constantly trying to recruit new volunteers who want to lead these activities, because they will be also acting as peers and giving peer support and receiving peer support as well. And we have had different projects in Familia during the past years. Currently, we have started the bilingual project, which is to support the intercultural families with under school age children to strengthen the development of their bilingualism and identity through family clubs. And those are going to start next year. And if anybody has any questions about bilingual project, you can get more information from our website, or you can email me or Laura directly, and our information is found on our website as well. And we are also looking to expand our services outside of Helsinki so that we could offer as many groups and as much peer support as possible. So we're also looking for new volunteers all around Finland. And we also, in addition to the groups that we offer kind of low threshold counseling. So if your family or you are struggling in your relationship, you can reach out to us through our website and we will give counseling. Or if it's really if you're going through a crisis, then we will kind of guide you to other services where you can get the best kind of support for your situation. But I think that is all for Familia. I will add our webpage to the chat if anybody wants to take a look at it. And I think we agreed that Sara would begin. Yes, okay, perfect. Wait, where can I stop sharing my screen? Wait, no. Perfect. Okay, so Sara, go ahead.
Thank you. I will share my screen now and share with you as well my integration journey and how I came to Finland and what experiences I've had so far. So a bit about me and my background. My name is Sara Geay. I'm 34 years old. I'm a mother of two small boys. Now I'm a third year of social services studies at DIAC. And I'm an intern at Familia, trying to organize and provide services for intercultural families. So my father is Serbian, my mother is Croatian, and it's a bit of a complex mixture of cultures for a child growing up in the 90s. When I was in the university, I decided to quit and focus on working and building a career in sales and marketing. In 2009, I started working at a jewelry company and managed to climb the ladder there. Became a franchise manager of the company. I worked with international buyers and franchisees, helping them in all aspects of the business, from branding and marketing to employee training, store maintenance, any kind of help that they needed. I had a great career and was very successful at it. But I also wanted to have a family of my own. It was only by chance in 2014 that I met a Finnish guy and fell in love. He invited me to come for a vacation in Helsinki, and I came. It was during that vacation that I made the hard decision to drop everything and stay here in Finland. I was hopeful. I believed I found the missing piece of the puzzle that was my life. I mean, if I managed to find a soulmate in this crazy world, how hard could the rest of it be? So I was brave and tried to move everything to Finland. We had maybe a month or two of our honeymoon period where we were getting to know each other better and having lots of fun experiencing life as a couple. Neither of us actually understood that our relationship can never be like the other relationships we had with people from our own culture. There were so many cultural differences between us that we couldn't explain to one another. We kind of also didn't know that we had to. One thing I couldn't wrap my head around was this attitude that he had that I should do things on my own without his help. If I wanted to go to a class or meet people or anything, I should look for it online and find it and do everything by myself. He was expecting me to do everything on my own, and I just simply couldn't. So I didn't know the language. I didn't know the system. I didn't know anyone in Finland apart from him. But I was still expected to be this strong, independent person who does everything on their own. I felt alone, afraid, helpless, lost, and above everything, confused. Needless to say, it caused a lot of problems in our relationship. Not only did we need to learn how to live together, but in particular, I had all of these problems that I had to deal with, which my partner couldn't really understand. Like, how is everybody else doing it? Why can't you? We just weren't aware of the concept and all of the issues, all of the problems that people face when they come to another country. In 2015, I got pregnant and at the end of the year, I had my first boy. The road was rocky, but I managed to fulfill one of my dreams and became a mother. So that was my focus at that time. I was focused on my son, on my family, and it was only when he started daycare after 2 long years of severe depression and numerous emotional problems that I decided to take matters into my own hands and begin my integration journey. I didn't really know where to begin. Sorry. Didn't really know where to begin. I was told I should start by getting a job. But the job market really confused me, and I couldn't find anything that I could do. So I started asking around, and people around me, family members, neighbors, friends, like, what do you think I should do? Where could I find a job? And overwhelmingly, I got told I should contact companies like Lasila ja Tikkanoja and other cleaning companies because they offer a lot of jobs, and you don't need to speak English very well to work there. Now I have to say, I don't think there's anything wrong with working as a cleaner or doing that job, but it was so far out of my skill set, out of my competences, out of my interest zone. I started to believe that if I cannot speak fluent Finnish, all of my skills, all of the knowledge and experience that I had are absolutely worthless. I am worthless here. There's nothing that I can do. When you're not really seen as an individual, but instead you're put in this category of, oh, you're an immigrant and all the immigrants are the same. It can really mess up with your head. You start kind of questioning who you are, and are you worth something? Are you the person that you think you are? So to combat that, in 2017, I started my first integration course in Pasila, and it was structured in this way that we had 3 days a week of Finnish language and learning the language, and then 2 days a week of work placement or työharjoittelu. So the options for the work training were cleaning, maintenance, and cafeteria work. Those were the 3 options that you could take. And by system of elimination, I chose cafeteria work, although I had no previous experience to this day, I'm not particularly interested in the field. So integration course lasted 3 months, and at the end I was offered a job at an English-speaking daycare close to my home, a job that I'm actually interested in, something that I knew I would enjoy and was capable of doing. So I was really over the moon happy about the possibility. The person from the integration course told me that if I wanted this job, it would be best if I offered to do the practical practice work for 1 month, which means that I would be working full 40 hours a week, but still collect only my unemployment from Kela. Now, you will remember how I mentioned that I was a manager. I worked as a manager and I employed many people during my career. So from my own experience, I know that a good manager can tell within 1 week if an employee is a good fit for the company. A bad manager probably within 2 weeks. So a month is not really necessary. But I still agreed to take that proposition, and because I really wanted the job. I really wanted the opportunity. The work was great. The kids were amazing, but I quickly started realizing I really wasn't there to contribute. Like, I wasn't there as a person. I was there to do the things that nobody wanted to do. At the end of the first month, my boss pulled me up for a chat, and she said, I talked with the person from your integration course, and she said she knows how much money you're getting from Kela, and that should be enough for you to do another month of no pay trial, of practical placement. I was speechless, angry at both of them, declined, of course, told her that I already did 1 month for free, despite my better judgment. And if she cannot pay me for the work, we can go our separate ways. Yeah, she agreed to pay me the minimum hourly wage for that job. And I stayed there until the end of my contract, which was 3 months in total. In the last month of my contract, my son got sick. And I couldn't take him to the daycare. My husband already stayed home with him for a few days. So the day before I had to stay home, I sent my boss a message just to inform her that there's a possibility I might have to stay home. I can't come to work. I still remember her response very vividly. The message really shook me to my core. She said, I don't care. I don't have anyone that can fill your shift, and you have to come to work. It's not an option. Ask your husband or somebody else to stay with your child. Here is where the benefit of a Finnish partner comes in, because it was my husband that told me, like, no, hey, no, this is illegal. In Finland, if you or your child is sick, you are entitled to your sick days. No one can tell you you have to come to work if this is the case. It was after that message I decided I will not be continuing my contract, and that will be it for my career in early childhood education. Instead of looking for another job after that, I wanted to learn more and do another integration course. This time, I went to Valma koulutus in Luxia. There's many other schools that offer it as well, but this one was closest to where I live. It's a year-long course for immigrants, where they teach you not only Finnish language and culture, but also other things that could be useful in your job hunting, like IT skills, physics, math, and in general, they really try to inform you about all the possibilities and opportunities that you can have as an immigrant in Finland. It was there that for the first time in 4 years, someone told me I have options. They taught me about schools that offer education in English, and that it is possible to reinvent yourself and start over, be whoever you want to be. They were the first ones that gave me hope, that didn't put me in the category of, oh, this is an immigrant. But they made us all feel like we're individuals with our own individual skills and interests and wants and needs. It was then that I decided I will apply for a bachelor in social services, because I really loved the idea of helping others overcome these problems that I faced. I didn't want anybody to encounter these problems again. And I did. I enrolled in DIAC. I found myself again. I had a new sense of purpose. I was stronger, better, and happier. And I will be really eternally grateful to them for giving me this opportunity to reinvent who I am and giving my identity back. So what I'm doing now is learning about the problems that immigrants and intercultural families have. And together with Familia, we're trying to create a better service system for people like me. I want to use my experience and my knowledge and my skills to make things better for the next Sara that comes here to Finland, hoping for the best but feeling lost. Also, I'm enjoying my own life with my own little intercultural family, and managed to find a very healthy work-life balance, which I'm very proud of. Some of the things that I wish I knew when I came here. One, intercultural communication is a thing. It's not the same. It's difficult to communicate with someone who didn't grow up in the same way you did, with same values, same role models, same environment. And you really need to put in an extra effort to look beyond those and connect with your partner on a deeper level. Identity crisis. It's very easy to lose yourself when you leave everything behind, and it can affect both your mental well-being and your sense of identity. But it's also an opportunity to reinvent yourself. Who do you want to be? What do you want from life? How do you want your life to be here? Trust your intuition. If something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Trust those feelings inside and look for information. Look why things are the way they are. Know your rights. Absolutely. Inform yourself however you can. Know what can be done to you and what cannot. Immigrant community can be a very easy prey for people who are looking to exploit workers, because they often cannot find work with their capabilities, and they don't know the law. So it's a crucial part of the integration process. Find services. There are many incredible NGOs like Familia, like International Working Women of Finland, that offer support for immigrants and intercultural people, and do not rely only on TE-toimisto when it comes to looking for a job or in integration in general. they're not a perfect source. And lastly, but not least, there is hope. I know it feels impossibly hard, but there is a place for you here if you want it. If you can't find it on your own, you're not alone. There are many of us trying to help and make things better. We listen and we fight for a better future for all of us. Thank you. If you have any questions, my information is here, and I will add my LinkedIn link in the chat when I find it.
Thank you, Sara. It was really inspiring.
Thank you.
I hope it will help other participants today to learn from the previous mistake that we all have done at the beginning of our journey. Thank you. But hey, Hope, would you like now to take the stage?
Sure. Well, do we want to pause? Does anyone have questions or comments for Sara?
If they do, I wrote in the chat that they can write it there, and I will be happy to take them. But if somebody wants to unmute a few seconds and have any questions, we can please go ahead. Otherwise, we will continue with you, Hope, and then we can have maybe at the end a couple of minutes for question and answers.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Let's share our screen. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
you see
presentation mode and then
perfect. Yeah, perfect. Actually, I kind of want to get a sense of like where everyone is at in terms of like when they have come to Finland. So just in the chat, or you can open your mics. Can you write in there? Actually, I can't see the chat, so maybe someone can read it out, like maybe Lucia. But can you write maybe how long you've been living in Finland? 6 months, years? It would be nice to know, kind of, to get a sense of where you're at.
We have Douglas, who said 4 years, Madi 3 years, Nural 4, Sima 7, Tate 5 months, a year, Avanti 2 months from Emil, just the 1st November, welcome. And I can say that I've been here almost 5 years. Then we have 6 weeks from Vera, 10 months by Sweta, Sage 2 months. So as you might wonder, we have the mentors have been a bit longer here in Finland, so they already have started their working path, while we have the mentees that they just mainly they have been here for a short amount of time, and then therefore they are looking for some guidances.
Okay, so a very like large range of people who have been here. Yeah, I just wanted to get an idea because, you know, if everyone's been here a little bit longer, then maybe this presentation will make sense. And there is definitely overlapping themes with Sara, as I'm sure all of you who have been here a long time. For those who have just gotten here or just arrived in Finland, maybe you can take our warnings and avoid our mistakes. So good luck in your Finnish journey. Oh yeah, so my name is Hope. I am at the moment nuoriso, I spelled that wrong. Nuorisotoiminnan koordinaattori at Familia. It's actually not supposed to be an I in after the S, but it's okay. I don't know that you guys know that, but it's youth activities coordinator. There's not really a lot of youth activities to coordinate at the moment, so I'm just trying to develop the youth activities, mostly targeted towards youth of an intercultural background. So kids who have been born in Finland to parents where one parent is born in another country, or where both of their parents are born in another country, and also youth who have moved here from somewhere else as well. And youth is kind of this funny term in Finland. It might be the same similar in Germany, where it's about like 17 to 29. So that is what youth is considered. But my journey to Finland was actually a bit different than I think a lot of others. Is I came actually as an au pair on an au pair visa. And for those of you who don't know what an au pair is, it's just kind of like a live-in nanny. I come from a quite like poor background. I'm from all the way on the southwest of the United States. And so I'd never traveled outside of the country really. I didn't have a passport, but after university, I wanted to travel, but I couldn't do it, without a lot of money. So I decided to work and then travel. And this is sort of what led me to these lovely people. This is a bit of an old photo. So they have aged 5 years from this moment. But this little girl in the stripes in the front is Nora. This boy in the back is Rope, with the green in his hand up. The one in the pink is Ruth. She's the middle child. And this is Saila and Mikko. And they are the Mielemäkis. They were my first introduction sort of to Finland as an au pair. I started to live with them. And I wish that everybody could come as an au pair because it was a good experience and introduction into Finnish culture, into Finnish food, into the Finnish language. And I get a lot of compliments often on my Finnish pronunciation. And I always have to credit it to this little girl in the front, the one with the stripes. She was my first Finnish teacher and was a very ruthless teacher. But yeah, this is what I had come to Finland for, is to live with them. I had planned to do a au pair for 6 months to a year. I ended up extending my visa to a year, and then I had wanted to maybe jump around Europe, and then I was applying for a working visa in Australia. So I had these lofty goals, but then this happened. I present Exhibit A, this guy. I met him on Tinder while I was living in Finland and an au pair. And after a few months, and I was looking for jobs, I was looking for work and looking for study opportunities outside of the au pair visa, because I would have to have grounds to apply for a different visa, not being from the EU. I couldn't find any opportunities. So we sort of just rolled the dice and we got married 5 years ago today. It's my anniversary. He's taking me to dinner. Yeah, so we got married.
Anniversary from everybody then.
Oh, thank you.
We try to release it very soon so you can go to celebrate.
yeah, I'm a bit hungry actually. But yeah, so we got married. But then, coming as an au pair, I didn't actually intend to stay in Finland. So even though I came the beginning of 2016, I didn't really start to the Finnish integration process until after we were married. I applied for a new visa, and then it started to sink in the reality that I'm living in Finland now. And that's kind of where I used this term as well, the honeymoon phase. So I describe this as like in a marriage, we got married, and I put, rather than a typical honeymoon phase where you can focus on the joys of the new chapter in your relationship, maybe making your new home and whatever else newlyweds do, I felt a lot of loneliness, a lot of isolation, and a lot of insecurity. So if any of you have experienced that, I'm sorry, and I hope that you help, or that you're able to find network, or even in just this chat or people, because it's not a good place to be. Feeling very lonely because of the language. I didn't speak really a lot of Finnish after the au pair ship. I spoke some, but not very conversational. It was very basic. And then there would be, without a job at the time, I think I wouldn't have an excuse to leave the house. So there would be some days I'd be walking and people don't look you in the eye or smile at you or acknowledge your existence. So I would feel like I could just blow away and no one would know I was gone, because it was really lonely, especially in the first couple months. I didn't have friends in the Helsinki area because I moved from Riihimäki, which is about an hour north of here, of Helsinki, and then I moved to Espoo to live with my husband after we were married. And so it was lonely. He was at work and I was by myself. I didn't have any friends in the area. I didn't know the language. And then I didn't know how to do anything, even simple things like change the address from where I was to where I was living now. I felt like a child. I couldn't figure that out. I couldn't figure out when I would go to the grocery store, which type of product of meat or butter should I use, what lactose meant, what's all the different types of flour and all the different types of sugar. Even just going to the grocery store felt extremely overwhelming, and I started to really retreat. And sort of I created this idea. I think I'm a very like goal-oriented person, and try to be very organized sometimes. So in my mind, after like getting advice and trying to search for things, I sort of created this idea of what integration meant to me. And I really do hate that term integration, but I'm going to keep using it. Just I think it is the best picture of what I'm trying to say, but meaning like me trying to fit into the Finnish society without having any expectations of what Finland could offer me. But this is sort of what I had come up with, was learning the language, get a job, make my own friends, do everything on your own because you're a big girl with big girl pants. And I sort of combined them all, and I thought all of those things equaled integration. And for me, this might not be helpful or relevant to any of you that have moved around to different countries, but for me, coming from living on my own in New Mexico or in Albuquerque, and then all the way to here, and not knowing how to do any of this stuff, it started to make me really, it really can be lonely if you don't know what you're doing. And I applaud anyone who did this very seamlessly. So yeah, this is what I thought. My husband forced me to volunteer, and I met some friends. Met a friend, let's just be honest, it was just one friend. I got like a platonic friend app. Because I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any network. So through the platonic friend app, it's just like it's a Tinder for friends. I met another friend, so that was 2 friends, and I sort of put a check mark on that aspect of it. Get a job, I did. I got a job in a päiväkoti because that seemed available, it seemed easy. I had experience in early years education. I thought it was good, but as Sara mentioned, sometimes when you take those first easy jobs, especially if you're in a position where you are financially struggling or you need money and you need it now, you sort of take the first job that comes your way. And in doing so, those sometimes, like in cleaning, like in restaurants and service care, hospitality, like in the childcare, it's kind of a hotbed for exploitation. So you know, if your employer presents your contract in Finnish and you sign it without knowing what it says, that's illegal, that's not allowed. And these are types of things I didn't know. I didn't know that I got at least a 30-minute break every day. I didn't know I got to be paid for overtime. I didn't know how to report overtime. I didn't know how to report my hours. All of these things I was doing at work thinking, oh, this just must be the way that it is, and not realizing that because of the country I was born, because of the lack of knowledge of the language, that I was being taken advantage of. And then the language, I was just taking Finnish courses. I was just trying to practice with people at Arkios when I would go to top up my bus card. I was just like making conversations with old people on the metro because they're always eager to speak to you, and they speak a lot slower. Or kids in the kindergarten, I would talk to the kids in Finnish because they talk slowly, they repeat a lot of things. So it was really good to hear language being said that way. But this still didn't necessarily lead to integration. Even after I did all these things, I started to try to make friends, be more out there, be uncomfortable, learn the language. I still somehow didn't integrate. And so I sort of started to realize that maybe I can't put my happiness or my life on pause while I achieve integration. And so I put a quotations on this, but it's just me that said that. It's not from anyone. But yeah, this was a little bit of a revelation I had after I found out that I'd be speaking for the Empower Wednesdays, is that for me personally, and maybe there's other people who've experienced this, when you come somewhere, there's all these things you're overwhelmed with that you have to do to somehow fit in Finland. And I think that the standard, especially because the Finnish language is so difficult, is so high here. So I was told, you know, by caseworkers at TE, like, well, you actually have to do this, and then you have to learn the Finnish language, and then you have to do this. And then I would get help from someone else, like doing a CV workshop or improving your LinkedIn or expanding your network. And I would do all these things, but they wouldn't lead anywhere. And all the meantime, in the background, I was still unhappy, I was still lonely, and I was still, I didn't feel like I was any farther on my journey than I had when I was started. Even though I was doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing, I wasn't getting anywhere. So I sort of created this new integration process, if you will, where they all happen simultaneously, and emphasize one more than the other in which you need. I think especially I want to highlight this light green one, the gain confidence to achieve. I think that this is something that I underappreciated and undervalued, thinking that I don't need confidence or anything when I putting my skills to use, even if I'm looking for work or expanding my networks. I think that if I'm not able to be confident in myself or my skills, no connection or nothing that I do is going to be meaningful. And when I gain confidence or have a little bit of when you're looking for work, or you're told like, oh, you can't, all these jobs say you need like fluent Finnish language, you sort of start to doubt, like, am I actually smart, or am I actually capable, when you've been on the job market for a year or more, or looking for things and you're constantly rejected. I think your confidence sort of goes down a little bit of points all the time. When you don't have as many friends, then it goes down a little bit more. When you struggle at the grocery store because you don't know what something means and you have to constantly use Google Translate, then your confidence kind of goes down a little bit more. And so it gets so low that I think it makes it difficult to achieve anything. And for me, that was something that I didn't realize I was struggling with. Building a community, I think that this is important in the social aspect as well. And it also depends on the person. Like, I come from a family that has a bit of enmeshment, which is not a great thing, but in a culture that has a lot of enmeshment, it's not great that everyone is a little bit codependent, but it's also has created a need for community, like a need for friends and constant social contact. And without that, I know I don't function very well. And I know Finland's an odd place for that, but it's possible. And I definitely encourage you, even I've got a dog, and anyone who doesn't have a pet, just get one, because it's going to help. I can give you a resource for rescues, because I started to feel after getting a dog that Finland is a very different country. I will, like before, just walking alone, people don't make eye contact with you, they don't nod to you, they kind of just disregard you, the value of personal space. But as soon as I had a dog that looked the slightest bit friendly, people are like, oh, so cute, and they want to talk to you. And so it's like, all of a sudden you feel like, wow, they notice me, that I exist, and you start to feel seen, and you start to feel even a tiny bit of sense of community. And it seems small, but it really does affect your mood, it affects your confidence, it affects everything. So get a dog. That is honestly my best integration advice, is get a dog. The other thing is to gain professional networks. I know I was tired of hearing this, like networking is important. And even Lucia told us to all put our LinkedIns in the chat, but it is honestly so important, because the only way I've been able to do anything or get any positions is from the networks that I have created. And it does suck when you come here and you virtually know no one, and you might have like all your connections are from wherever you're from. But getting connections here and sort of putting yourself out there is really so important. And don't feel, I'd say, embarrassed or ashamed to just like connect with someone you don't know. Just write a note and be like, hey, I'm new in Finland, I'm just looking to connect. Like, please, let's connect. Just do it, because it is really so important. And then they'll be on your mind, or you will be on someone's mind the next time they have an opening in a company or something. The level up of your skills. This is one thing I think it's so easy to do in Finland, because there are a lot of resources. So, take advantage of the fact that you could go back to school for free if you wanted. You could do, like, they have code schools now. There's so many free courses online. It just makes you stand out so much more if you're constantly wanting to learn. And the finding a place where I belong in my society. For me, this was sort of something that I had to figure out on my own. I'm really not sure if I still belong in Finnish society, but this is the part of integration that we don't discuss in TE, that we don't discuss in organizations, is the focus is all on us as immigrants and what we can do to fit into Finland. But the conversation also needs to be, what can Finland do to fit us into their society? And I think keep that in mind when you move forward, that you don't have to break yourself to integrate into Finland or to get a job. Like, there at some point you need to recognize that there is policy issues, that there is things going on, discrimination and racism at play sometimes when you're applying for jobs. So give yourself a break. and remember that you don't owe everything to this place, that they also owe you something, and that it's not just a one direction, it is definitely a bi-directional process. And socialize. Again, I think the dog will really help with the socializing bit. Honestly, the best advice I could give. Finally, here's some of the services or the things I had done to integrate when I had first come. The volunteering, I said I had volunteered to meet a friend, and that did really help with the socialization part. Junction is where I volunteered. I went back to school at the same university that Sara went, and I graduated last year during a pandemic on a Thursday by myself in my room on my laptop. It was so sad. Online research, this is all I did for like groups to find things, was just like search organizations, search different things. I joined Facebook groups, finding an easy job like I told you the Päiväkoti are looking for cleaning jobs, and I took Finnish classes. But honestly, if I would have to do this again, I would have loved to have things that like IWWOF is doing, or I did also the spouse program with Helsinki City. So the social networking events, I didn't have any of those when I first came to Finland or first started to integrate. I didn't have any professional networking events either. And maybe they were there, to be fair, maybe they were, they weren't visible to me, so they weren't accessible. Mentor, mentee programs. I think of all of these suggestions I have, this is my favorite one. I think that I actually did the Doren one. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. It's just one offered by Lukan in the Swedish speaking side. I don't speak Swedish, but they try to connect you with someone in Finland who's in your field, whatever it may be. So my field is like social services and social sciences. So they connect me with someone who is in NGOs and also worked in kind of nonprofits as well. So this was really helpful. And even right away in the first meeting, you just have one meeting, maybe two. And in the first meeting, you expect to be there for an hour, and she gives you at least 2 LinkedIn connections of her own, and that was very powerful. So there's a bunch of these programs going on from other organizations. So I would definitely recommend to try something like this. I don't know, since they're mostly all online, you don't have to be in a specific place. Like if you're in Turku or Helsinki, it doesn't really matter. You can be wherever you need to be. An integration support person. I think as much as it's easy to sort of make your networks and the social networks around immigrant friends, most of my friends are immigrants, you still need sort of a Finnish person to support you, and that your partner can be that person, whoever it is, or it can be a friend, but have that person be designated support person for you, that I'm having problems with this, can you help me translate? Just have them go to all those issues. And access to mental health services. I think knowing what's available, there's not a lot of services available sometimes in other languages, but if you're not sure, ask. And I think don't be afraid to ask, because going through a process of migrating, even if you're from the EU, even if you maybe even know the language or Swedish or something like that, it's moving to a new country and then being there, not knowing anybody, feeling isolated, especially during the winter. That's, your mental health is very important, or you can't function. Currently working as a youth activities coordinator, just for the next 6 months. Hopefully it continues. Tonight, celebrating my 5th year anniversary with my husband, and trying to be an advocate for immigrants living in Finland, regardless of how you came here. This is just my current snapshot, but my voice is dry, so I think I'm going to finish it there. Does anyone have any comments or questions? I just put my Instagram, LinkedIn, and email there if you wanted or want to chat about dogs.
Yeah, the pet idea seems really to be appreciated in the comment.
Oh, good. Okay, is everyone got all of the information they need? I'm gonna stop sharing now so I can also look at the chat. Yeah.
If you have any comments or any question, you can just open your mic and ask directly. So please.
Yeah, I would appreciate that, so it doesn't feel like I'm talking to myself.
Oops. Hello. I'm really interested in the alternative concept to integration, because I really think that is key for Finland to succeed in the future, and for we as immigrants to succeed here. I think we have so much to offer. One of the most one of the biggest opportunities, besides the fact that we bring diverse perspectives and experience and skills to the table and awareness of problems outside of Finland, is that so many organizations here are looking to expand internationally because the Finnish market is seen as being so small. And we as immigrants offer opportunities for internationalization to so many of these companies. They just understand how much we have to offer if we are not made to integrate or assimilate, but if we are recognized and valued for the diversity we bring.
Yeah. When you said alternative for like definitions of integration, do you want to expand on that a little bit, Doug?
I've been thinking about that for a while. And then when it was posed in the chat, I was thinking like mutual enrichment or nourishment or something that suggests, like you said, it's a two-way process. At least it's a multi-way process, and it's fundamental for us as humanity, as a society, to make our way towards the futures, to figure out how to recognize diverse interests with common interests within very diverse backgrounds and experiences.
Yeah, I think that is something that I have yet to this day, and I've been here 6 years almost. I've yet to see a single program or initiative or policy address the this side. I mean, they say, yes, we value diversity, or we value the integration, we want to help with this process, but oftentimes it's a lot of emphasis on the immigrant, us as we are, in improving ourselves versus the host society sort of like coming together for, like what you said, the sort of mentor-mentee relationship. And that's something that I think, like, if I could make laws and this could pass right now, I would, like I said, this integration person, I would make a program or would make it mandatory that when someone comes to Finland, they are like assigned a Finnish integration like person, not someone who is an expert in integration or anything, but someone who is like your go-to person to answer questions and has to be available to you, because I think that would, one, strengthen relationships between Finnish born people or Finnish speaking people and those who are not born here or are from parents of a different culture. And then it would also help, like, sort of the tensions that you find around public, help the spread and awareness of different cultures. Not all people are the same, especially when you see in like housing and in kerrostalos, or what are they called in English? High rises, maybe? Seinäbu? Is it like apartment buildings? How there's like, even if you're cooking different foods, like there can be the tensions or the comments in the hallway of like, it smells weird or it smells different. And these sort of tensions like just come from ignorance and like lack of understanding from the host side or the Finnish side of what it means to live in an intercultural society. We need to move it along with Finland needs to like catch up with the times.
We have actually a question from Kirsi. Kirsi, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Kirsi. Here representing Hey Life, which is a joint program with the higher education institutions in Turku, Tampere, and the capital region. And we have a spouse network in the capital region as well. We've been working with Familia, for instance. They've had some events together with us. And I just wanted to quickly mention that there are already initiatives. So we're taking these baby steps in trying to make the rest of society and especially working life understand that definitely diversity is the way forward. And many people understand that and aren't rooting for assimilation in any way, but more the problematic integration or acculturation, and not even acculturation, but that we would all be happy here and it would be a good place for everybody to live regardless of your background or whatever. And Väestöliitto, the Finnish Family Federation, has a program called, or a pilot project called Recognizing International Talents. And I believe that's one of the first ones, if not the first in Finland, where companies can gain a mark, diploma, or what's the word, a symbol, that they are taking the DEI issues to heart and really trying to make an effort in diversifying recruitment, for instance. And there's several pilot projects pilot programs in the pilot project. And then there's we are at the University of Helsinki, for instance, we've had for years already this unibody system where we find a person within our academic community who would then be that point of contact for all the everyday things, or just a first friend to somebody who is coming from abroad and starting work in our organization. Finland is a small country, and in a way, we are not that many as a nation, to put it that way, rather. So in a way, it might be easy to say that, or it's easy to think that we could just have all these national initiatives and we would shake things up enough and slap the silly organizations in the face who don't see the value of diversity, but it doesn't work that way. And we are so scattered. We need a lot of local initiatives, and we need a lot of work done on the attitude changing level, and it just takes a while. What I think for me, for instance, as a talent booster and an active person in the network, one of the key points here is that all these different programs that we do have and all the different services that are available, they just need to be promoted all the time in every way to everybody, because there's new people coming in all the time, and there might be people who stayed here for a while already and still don't know about them. So it's an ongoing process, and the work sort of never ends. And one really valuable thing, we now have to congratulate IWOF, because it has been selected the Volunteer of the Year by the Refugee Council. So during this webinar, we've received the news, or I noticed it on Facebook. That's fabulous news. So
Volunteer of the Year, we did the integration.
Yes, act.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Because there's we even in the Volunteer of the Year.
Yeah, Kototeko. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just wonderful that we have these things, and organizations like IWOF and activities like Empower Wednesday. I could ramble on forever, but what I really wanted to say is that things exist, and there's a lot of people who want to help, and a lot of organizations that want to help, and we just have to join forces also in promoting all these things, and then also hearing your feedback. For instance, all the things that Sara and Hope mentioned, there's a lot of good pointers for me as well with the Hey Life network, that things that we can take and still develop. So thanks for sharing your experiences.
Thank you, Kirsi.
Thank you, Kirsi. I saw a few comments, but not really a question for the speakers, but if you do have some question, you can unmute yourself. Otherwise, I think if we can start and with the mentoring part, well, we can introduce the mentor to the mentees, and we can thank you, Sara, Hope, and Abu, for their lovely presentation. And I hope that we all learn that the path is not so smooth and easy for the majority of us, but
Thank you.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I want to say thank you. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. And yeah, I'm gonna go. It's my anniversary, but good luck with the rest of the event. And it was really nice to meet a lot of you, or whoever I got to talk to.
Thank you, Hope. Go to celebrate.
Bye, thanks, Lucia.
For us. Thank you. So now I promised at the beginning that you will meet your mentor and mentees. The idea of this part is that you are able to connect and share your mentoring agreement that you've been receiving a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I created breakup rooms for you to meet one-to-one with your mentor or mentees, but not everybody were able to join us today. So if you are not assigned to a breakout room, I'm sorry. We will chat with you a bit, and then I will share with you the contacts of your mentor and mentees. But for the lucky ones who have their pairs matched today, I will give you 20 minutes where you can just share your contacts, share the mentor agreements, and then the 2nd of November, as I promised at the beginning, we will have the real kickoff meeting where we will tell you more about how the mentoring program will be structured, how the coaching part will be structured, and some other news that I would like to share with you on the 2nd of November, and some introduction from our partners as well. So without further ado, now I will start those breakup rooms. Thanks again for Familia, and for the unlucky one, I will be here for you. I'm sorry. We wait a couple of minutes so everybody has a chance to enter.
Since I don't see a breakout room, does that mean I'm the lucky one?
Douglas, were you selected for the mentoring?
I don't see any. No. Oh, was there some kind of thing I had to sign up for in advance or something?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No worries, because I didn't
If there's
recognize
any
your name.
If there's any extras, like people who want mentoring, I've been doing that for startup refugees, and I'd be happy to play that role today if there's someone who needs it or wants it.
Thanks a lot for your opportunity. The mentoring has been planned for a couple of months now, so we selected the mentoring pairs with some reasoning behind. But
awesome.
If we need, I believe I have your email because you registered to this event, and then we can chat more. And if some need, or I can be in contact. Is it okay?
It sounds great. I would look forward to it. So does that mean Let's Empower Wednesday is then over if you're not part of a mentee-mentor duo?
No, not at all.
Oh.
It's an extra program. So Empower Wednesday will continue as planned to the 24th.
I mean for today, for the afternoon.
For today is done. You're free to have your dinner.
I look forward to talking to you more in the future.
Thank you, Douglas. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Kirsi.
Yeah, I think I'll then head off as well. If I may ask, or are you super busy?
No, I just check why some person didn't join the one backup room, and then I can come back to you.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, because I have a poor alone mentor that he doesn't know what to do. Sage. I think, I don't know why somebody disconnected, but there's not much I can do about that. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought I'd check. Do you want to stop the recording?
Yes, good idea.
I always forget that the recording